Hi, welcome to the Go-Go Juice podcast. I'm Day.
And I'm Giulia, and this is your go-to dose of girl talk. Living in our 20s is kind of tricky. All of us are juggling an awful lot of things at the same time. Most of our friends in our friend group are full-time master students. We're trying to apply for internship.
There's a lot going on. We are a lot further into this year than I feel comfortable to admit.
It was really quick.
It was
I don't know
fast.
if I love it or I hate it. I love the fact that it was really quick because it means we loved it. We're really enjoying it, but it's been really quick. And there's someone who does feel the same.
They do feel the same.
I guess we're going to have another chit chat with someone special today. So everyone say welcome to Josh.
Josh.
Welcome, Josh. Thank you for agreeing to come into the Go-Go Juice podcast.
We're
Oh my god,
so
thank you
happy
guys so
to
much for
have you.
having me.
How do you feel?
So excited. I know you both know this. This has been like a lifelong dream of mine to be on a podcast. So thank you for letting me weasel my way in here.
Oh my gosh,
thank
of course.
you. It's so fun how we're such a small podcast. For now, we're going to be famous and rich with this. But like for now, we're really small podcast. So thank you for supporting us in the beginning of us and trusting that this project is going to go far. Josh is such a talented human being. Should we introduce him a bit before?
I would love to introduce.
Okay.
We'll introduce Josh in our own words, and then Josh, you can introduce yourself.
Absolutely.
But can we just say, what a safe, incredibly smart, caring, compassionate person?
Josh, for me, started off as a flatmate, but I just knew from day one that we were going to be more. Now, like, you're one of the most important people in my life. Oh my God, I'm blushing. You're one of the most important people in my life. You quickly became more than a friend. You're like a best friend. And one of the things you told me that it was like such a huge compliment that you gave me. We were doing a thing one day around like what was the first impression of each other. And Josh, you told me I gave you like instant bestie vibes. And that was
Aw.
just such a compliment. When I feel low, you literally arrived to hold my hand in 2 minutes. And that happened.
Yeah,
That happened.
To the second, 2 minutes.
So, Josh, who is Josh?
Josh is everything.
Josh is everything.
The answer
I
is
am
Josh.
everything and nothing. I am inconceivable.
Yeah.
I like it.
So yeah, Josh is a great friend for both Day and I. And also, as we are, he's trying to get into a creative industry. He's doing an amazing master that we're going to talk about in the podcast today. So yes, but how would you describe yourself,
Yeah,
Josh?
Josh, take it
Well,
away.
Thank you for that glowing introduction.
Of course.
My name is Josh. I am, despite the fact that my voice sounds like somebody took an American accent and a British accent and threw them into a blender and just hit pulse a couple of times, I'm originally American from Buffalo, New York. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Shout out to Buffalo and Buffalo Wings.
Yeah, that's true. You're very welcome for that. I invented that personally. But I'm half American, half British, so I've grown up both in America and in the UK. I did my undergraduate degree in physics, of all things.
Oh,
that
I
was
always
Every
forget.
time.
that was
you
that
bring
was
it
a
up.
choice. That was certainly a choice. And yeah, now I'm here doing a cool, weird, crazy thing, and that is I write video games.
You do.
Yeah, really great video games.
thank
As
you.
someone who has been honored to like play test
Oh,
several
shucks.
of them. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so interesting to see the behind the scenes of how this program and this field of work runs through you,
Mhm.
Josh. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And how your mind works as well. Let's start from your master.
Mhm.
Interactive storytelling design.
Correct.
Yes, I got it. And you're actually the first cohort here at Exeter. It's like a brand new course.
Indeed.
Do you feel like it's the first time this course is up here in Exeter, or is it already super well organized?
Amy Cutler and Rob Sherman, who are the two people who run it, absolute, both brilliant, both lovely people. It's really quite something special. So to give a little background, interactive storytelling design means I write video games, as I said, but I do a lot of creative writing work, and I do design work, and any kind of written work that has to do with the creation of an interactive narrative experience. So yeah, I've designed an alternate reality game, designed an escape room. I have worked with a computer. I will immediately give this disclaimer. Have not touched generative AI, but I have made a computer write poetry, kind of a la you might think like if you went to ChatGPT and said, hey, write me poetry. I kind of did a thing, but I didn't use generative AI. You will quickly
You
come to learn
designed it
about
by
me. I designed it
yourself.
by myself
It's
using pre-existing tools, but
yeah.
designed it by myself.
It's so crazy how the industry is coming around, and we need to be so careful about AI and have to make clear that we didn't use AI in
Yeah.
We
anything that we
do.
do.
For things so interactive, especially with the narrative, right? Like
Yeah.
a robot doesn't understand the human condition and complexity that's
Yeah.
essential for a narrative to play out fully.
There are games that have used natural language processing and large language models for narrative effect. And I am, supportive of those games, because when I say, an LLM or natural language processing, I'm not referring to ChatGPT or Grok. So it is a tool. It already has been used. I'm pretty sure the game is called Facade,
Okay.
which is a game. It was like an internet game. I want to say circa 2006. The whole game is trying to kind of fix a couple's relationship. You're like a
Okay.
friend of this couple, and you come into their apartment and they're fighting, and you have to try and fix the relationship or navigate the relationship.
Okay.
But all of the dialogue in the game comes from the couple, and it's all generated by an LLM, which is all to say that there is a place for the technology in the field.
Wow.
So
you really need to know your way around it.
You
Yeah.
And I
do.
feel like now in this industry, there's this whole layer that you need to be careful about. That is the AI
Mhm.
from the application till the work itself.
Yeah.
From publishing point of view, I do see how the editing process could be affected by it. At the same time, I do see like one of the least likely things to do, because we are learning a lot through our master how the human relationship between an editor and an author is so important.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know how AI could replace it, but at the same time,
Yeah.
especially from maybe a copy editing point of view and proofreading point of view,
Yeah, that's true.
it is happening. Like, it's truly happening right now, and it's something our professor were concerned about as well. So if you see your professor being concerned about it, you see how the industry could be concerned about it.
I instantly think of the writer to project process. I've seen a lot of articles in the last couple of days saying that agents are begging writers to stop sending in manuscripts that are written by generative AI. We actually did an exercise on this in class. We were doing a poetry workshop, and we all had to read a whole bunch of poems, and we couldn't know where they came from. We just had to say, like, which 8 or so would we accept? And then at the end, we got to flip them over and see where they came from, and several were AI. So it's a really interesting kind
And
of
I'm
way.
guilty of picking one
Yeah,
of them.
I mean, it's gotten to this point where it's been really tricky to pick out the human.
To even recognize it.
Yeah.
But probably and hopefully the relationship part of it is what is gonna make a difference in the industry. And I think it's the same from a storytelling design point of view. Like the relationship between the gamer and the designer, knowing what the gamer wants and giving it to them, because you're a human creating for humans. That's the end point of it. That's what we need.
That's the most important thing for me about just creativity in general, is that you're almost never creative in a vacuum. Oftentimes when you are in a creative industry and you're thinking about being creative for the masses, for an audience, for a player, you're thinking about yourself and what you want very little of the time. What you're actually thinking about is how you put forward an idea, and then how is your audience going to respond? And especially from a publishing side, you're almost kind of working as an interface, a little bit of a go-between an author or a creator of some kind and the audience that's going to see that work. I don't know, do you think about yourselves like that? Or
I would say so. We have this idea in publishing of the gatekeeper, which is usually attributed to agents, because an agent is the one who says, yes, I love your manuscript. I will pitch you to editors. They are the gateway, at least for US and UK publishing. That's how you get published. Other countries have their own systems for this. But I think in any role in publishing, you are in some form a gatekeeper, because it is your middle ground go between actions that gets you from manuscript to like a product. A manuscript isn't yet a product, it hasn't had that capitalistic tag thrown onto it yet. At that point, it's an idea, it's a hope.
Yeah.
Something that I'm thinking about, I don't know how well it connects, but like the whole idea behind wanting to work in a creative industry is wanting to create art in many different forms, but it's still art. So I'm asking myself, would people want to consume art that is coming from technology? I'm not really well educated about it. Like, I don't know much about it, but I know that we wanted to like land a time capsule. No, how'd you say? Like,
are you talking about the Voyager records?
Yeah.
Where we took a bunch of like humanities, artistic, and
when you put it on space, how'd you say?
technological-
When you fly it on space?
launched a satellite?
Okay.
Yeah, launched it.
So I don't really know much about it, but I'm just remembering about the satellite that was launched in
Voyager
space.
1,
Yes.
right?
Where we wanted to like keep the most beautiful artistic creations of the last century or something to just have it as a time capsule. Does it mean that when we go forward, like in 10 years, and people cannot tell the difference anymore between AI generated content and actual art that humans are creating, does it mean that we could end up just picking those things that like celebrate us as human beings, because that's what it is
That's
all
what
about.
it is.
It's like picking something that is just describing our experience as human on Earth for future, I don't know, generation, future like human forms. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really interesting.
It's a lot about art,
thought.
and I wouldn't want AI to like
No, I can't imagine if we sent up another Voyager kind of capsule and find out, 600, 800 years down the line that 3 of them were AI. I mean, what does that say about us as a society?
Exactly. But can we even tell the difference now? I cannot. Like, I clearly
Sometimes
picked
I
a
can't.
poem that was AI generated during a lecture,
Well,
and I had
listen,
no clue.
Listen, don't beat yourself up about that, because
Yeah.
the Bot Poetics project that I've done as a part of this master's course, I took a lot of inspiration from Italo Calvino. One of his most famous works is the novella Invisible Cities, which is this very postmodernist work. If you're not familiar, it's the depiction of Marco Polo telling Kublai Khan about all of his travels and all of the great cities that he has visited while traveling through the Khan's empire. All of Calvino's descriptions are these very kind of weird, postmodernist, out there, really fantastical, kind of mythic places. And the project that I did was kind of, because these are kind of almost more like prose poetry than they are like straight prose, I worked with Tracery, shout out Kate Compton, to create new invisible cities, kind of in the style
I remember
of
that project.
Calvino.
I
Right?
do too, yeah.
And it was a project I'm really proud of, and I'm still working on it and kind of tooling it. But it brings up this really important question of authorship, which is...
we did talk about it a lot during our master.
Please let us know your thoughts on authorship.
So authorship becomes a very, very interesting question in my field, because you cannot even really consider the question of sole author anymore in any kind of interactive work, right? If it's interacted with by a player, if it's interacted with by an audience, if it's interacted with by a computer, or if it's interacted with nobody. There is such a thing, if you get into the really avant-garde spaces of my field, there is such a thing as zero-player games.
How hard is it though? Like, is bracket here.
Yeah, please.
How hard is it to design a game where you actually don't know if it's just gonna be a singular player playing it or a group? Do you have to design it like in a different way if you know there's going to be a group playing it? But also, how do you know?
Yeah, how do you make that difference then, that distinction?
So there's a difference between the idea of playing single player versus multiplayer. There is also, you might be thinking about the idea of, one person is playing a game and other people are sitting around and watching that one person. In the first case, it's a pretty conscious design choice that you make from the beginning.
At the same time, you don't have fully control on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most multiplayer games will have single player capability. In fact, that kind of It Takes Two, that whole series of games, is a bit of a rarity because it requires 2 people to play, right? Most multiplayer games, in my experience, have also had a single player option. As for the second thing, even if it is just a single player game, is there going to be a group of people kind of watching? That's something you have no control over as the game designer. One of the head writers for Larian Studios UK said something really cool. We know our player is the main character, but we don't know who the player is. So how do you create a possibility space where your player is the main character in everything that they do, but you have no idea who your player is?
It's such an interesting
That is really interesting.
That's both exciting and maybe a little bit terrifying as well.
Absolutely.
And you have no idea how it's going to impact them. And the second that you kind of start to put interactivity, and not only are they just sitting there being a passive observer, now they are actively sitting and engaging with the material. And then on top of that, they're actively sitting and engaging, and they're going in and changing things about the material to kind of create this experience that is unique to them. It just kind of builds and confounds. And that is the deeply terrifying and also tremendously exciting thing about the work that I do.
That was a really interesting bracket.
Fascinating. That was a really good bracket. And can I just say, we have something sort of similar in publishing of like, our characters don't know what genre they're in.
Oh, You know who said something really great about
You
that?
know what I mean?
Something really great about that. A personal hero in life, Brennan Lee Mulligan. Brennan Lee Mulligan is one of the kind of foremost figures in the actual play space, which are the people who play tabletop role-playing games and film them and kind of produce them as live streamed or pre-filmed and edited content for people to consume, you know, on the internet and things like that. And he had this really interesting point to say about characters. And he said something along the lines of, to your point, Day, that the characters that I play don't want to be in The Lord of the Rings. They want to see their objective. They want to get it done as fast as possible. They don't want to go through the hero's journey. They don't want to do X, Y, Z. They want to do the thing, get it done, and it be done and over with. What we as the audience, as the players and the designers want is to write a good story.
That's so interesting because the narrative isn't ours, it's the characters.
Yeah.
Like, so it already exists outside of the readers, and sure, the readers can put their own connotations on it, but like the interactive narrative itself is this whole other world that the character goes through and experiences, which is separate then from the authors, from the readers. And I think that's maybe something similar between your field and ours.
Yeah, and it all goes back to the question of authorship.
I would love to take this idea of like who is the actual author who produced this work and maybe turn it toward like the broader creative industries and creativity in general. I know that we're all taking inspiration from the world around us as we create in general. I think that's true for everyone, painters, sculptors, our writers, as we're editing, as you're working on designing with your narratives. I just wonder if we go to this idea, maybe my favorite TED Talk ever, the elusive creative genius. Who is it who gets to take credit for what we've created? Is it like...
Is it the TED Talk you were talking about?
It is. It's this idea of like a muse. When the muse descends and you have this vibe and this strong urge to get something down, is that another entity that gets to take responsibility and authorship and ownership for that idea, or do we take it because we were the scribe?
If the ancient Greeks are to be believed, then the muse is certainly a separate entity that should take credit. That's how Homer opens both the Iliad and the Odyssey. Sing to me, O muse, blah, blah, blah. The first thing that Homer says is, I didn't do this. I'm not like, all I'm doing is I've just got the muse in one ear and I'm furiously like talking or scribbling with my pen in the other. I'm just a go-between. I don't know, where for the two of you, where does the font of inspiration come
Julia,
from?
where do you find it?
Draw the line. I'm not a huge creative person. Like I am, but I don't write.
Lie, listeners. This is a lie. Julia's very creative.
I love creativity. I don't produce any form of art on a daily basis, but I do see where you're coming from. Also because I'm wondering now, when you sit down and write a poem and you had that external inspiration, how do you yourself draw the line of knowing how much is coming from you and how much is coming from that? And also, like, isn't it still yourself speaking and writing and painting? And also, how much credit do you give to yourself? Like, I would say you should give full credit to yourself, but at the same time, I do see the question of being like, where is it coming from?
Yeah, it's like, where does it... when you talked about, like, when I sit down to write a poem, I have two very specific experiences from my undergrad. One of those poems that I wrote, it was called Cochlea, and it's about my hearing loss. And I remember the poem came, and it was like I could feel the poem in the air around me, and I was, like, frantic to write it down. And I later was able to publish that, and that was really nice. Or another poem, I lucid dream, so I'm, like, in full control of my dreams pretty much all of the time.
I'm so jealous.
It's really nice. It's kind of my superpower. And
it
so there
is a superpower.
Yeah, it is. There's a time where
Bracket. How
Bracket,
did you find out you do lucid dream? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would be asleep.
Or has it always been like this? So it's kind of like your... Oh, it is.
It's pretty much has always been like that. If it's... I know that I'm asleep, then I can take control of it. If I don't know that I'm dreaming, I can't take control.
I cannot even imagine how it feels like.
It's great. It's great. Like, nightmares, be gone.
Oh,
no more.
Really
I just have to know that I'm
so
having
jealous.
the nightmare. But it was so nice because I could take, like, I'd be asleep and I'd know that I'm sleeping. And I'm like, oh, well, I have a deadline tomorrow for a poem that I did not write. Let me write a poem in my sleep. I will wake myself up. I will record it into, like, my little voice
you
notes.
are actually
I'm telling you
right now.
I'm
No, I
being
remember
so
when you
honest.
when you first told me about this, I
Yes.
was like, Day is not a human being.
It's a superpower.
How crazy
I would just wake
like,
myself
how our
up.
mind works.
Yeah, say it into my phone.
That's
and then
wild.
go back to sleep to write the next stanza, wake up, record it, and that's how Sunburnt came to be.
So would you say that your whole creative process for that poem happened while you were sleeping?
The entire poem was written while I was asleep, Julia.
I can. Oh no! You need to tell me more. How were you writing a poem while sleeping? So it
Mhm.
was like you were actively thinking about writing,
Yes.
like as if you were awake. You were thinking about your poem and creating in your mind, but you were
Yeah.
actually asleep.
So what had happened was I fell asleep and I started dreaming, and at some point during the dream, I kind of woke up in this metaphysical sense that like I knew I was asleep, and from then on I have complete control. And so since I know I'm asleep, it's like there's the part of my brain that's actively sleeping and kind of still wants things to be kind of fantasy-ish, futuristic, like it's everything's a little fuzzy at the edges, and then there's the other half of my brain that's like, oh girl, we've got stuff to do,
Yeah.
let's get it done. And I remember just like, okay, sure, I don't have time to write it in the morning, so I'll write it now. And I like conjured a desk for myself and a window, and I just sat and wrote at my little mental desk and wrote a poem.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this because I feel like
Day-
it's such an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Like, really,
I
thank you
haven't,
for
yeah,
sharing.
I haven't
Yeah.
met a lot of
That's so
other people
cool.
that do. So if you are listening to this and you also lucid dream, can you please tell me if that's like a common experience? Because I just don't know.
I
Not
don't
a lot
know
of people do.
anyone else. I don't know
Yeah.
anyone else who can do this.
All right, bracket within the bracket. Julia, what's your because Day, you refer to that as your like it's your superpower. Julia, what's your superpower?
So,
I
no.
love that. Thank you.
Because I know what mine is, but I want to hear yours.
Oh, do you have a superpower?
I think maybe. I don't know. Probably.
Okay, so you start, and I'm gonna think about it
Okay,
while you
you think.
talk.
My
Fair.
superpower is that I am never ever triple promise never ever woken up by my alarm. I always,
Oh.
regardless of how much sleep I'm getting, what time of day it is, without fail, I will wake up anywhere between half an hour and 45 minutes before my alarm goes off.
Even
Oh.
if your sleep schedule is changing. So even if tomorrow your alarm is at 9 a.m. and the day after is at 10 a.m.
Yep, 100%.
Still.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what going on with my body's circadian rhythms, but like
That's what I was
without
gonna say.
fail.
Like it would have to be a circadian rhythm thing.
Yeah.
But if it's like when you change your schedule,
hmm
oh,
It's
that's
still- yeah.
fascinating. Okay, that's your superpower.
That's really interesting.
I have weird dreams, Julia.
Really have no clue what my superpower
Yeah?
is. Do you think I have? I don't think I have one. I
No,
don't
think
have
everybody
something
has
that
a
a superpower. I can't think about one. Like on.
I mean, you're impressive on all fronts. To say.
I mean, I think bilingualism is a bit of a superpower.
Yeah, that
to
is
be
a bit of a
honest.
superpower.
But that's more like of a skill. The thing that you are talking about is just something that comes natural to you, and it's like not something that you can learn.
I would say that your superpower is empathy. Can
Oh,
I
that's
say
really
that?
Yeah,
sweet.
would you? Yeah, absolutely.
Can I say that? Just because
Yeah.
I feel like, and I've said this to you before, like you wear your heart on your sleeve and you're not shy about it, and you're proud of that fact rather than like trying to abstain from.
I
letting
got
people
one then.
know.
Is my superpower the fact that I cannot hide any emotion from my face?
I love that about you. Sure, if you want to say so.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Like it's not always helpful, but
Mhm.
maybe the fact that I'm really, really, really expressive and
Yeah.
really.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's kind of different from your superpower,
I think
but
that
that's the only
counts.
thing I can think about right now. So that's
I
gonna
like
work.
that. I like that as a
Yes.
superpower. Well, what is our next point? Because I think we have a lot of interesting things that we wanted to chat with you
Yeah.
about today.
We could chat about, if you would like to, your whole music background. Like
Sure.
Josh has a strong music background, and it
Mhm.
shaped a lot of your personality, I would say, from what I know. So if you would like to talk about that a bit.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting that we've been on the subject of inspiration because I actually find a lot of my inspiration through music. So I am a classical musician. I
Mhm.
started playing the violin when I was 4 years old. And now I play the viola. Very, very hard instrument, but it's a beautiful instrument. And I've been playing the viola and kept the violin up for the better part of the last, gonna dox my age by doing maths. It's about to be March, so 18 years of my life.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
So
That's so
I never
impressive.
realized.
thank you.
Yeah, I never
Um,
did the math.
So yeah, and well, I really fell deeply in love with music as an artistic practice. I listen to music all of the time. I used to listen to like classical music obsessively. I still listen to it every now and again.
I feel like it calms you down a bit as well.
Mhm.
Sometimes I
Mhm.
feel like when you're overwhelmed, you just pop your
Well,
headphones on.
it depends on the classical music. I
That's
can give
true.
you some very, very not calm classical music right now if that's something you need. Yeah, so music has just always been part of my life in that way. And it's just kind of infected my creative practice. When I started doing a lot of creative writing, I'd oftentimes tie music to what I was doing. I'd written a short story that was recently edited by our very good friend and friend of the podcast, Adya Gupta.
Ciao, Adia.
I'd actually written a short story, the idea of which came to me when I was playing a piece of music in an orchestra called Halcyon's Sun. Phenomenal piece of music, so stunning, so gorgeous, that music called forward to my mind this story of a little kind of robot that wakes up covered in moss and twigs that have like attached onto it in the middle of this huge like forested glade. And that was the starting image that came with that music. And music inspires a lot of what I do. But I feel like I just worked on a project where I was doing something and music. Oh, I've been writing a lot of Regency-themed content because we have been obsessed with Bridgerton Series 4.
Haven't we though?
The second half of the series drops tomorrow on the day that we record
so
this.
excited. I'm a bit upset with Benedict
As are we
Bridgerton,
all.
but-
Benedict Bridgerton has a lot to answer for.
But
at
that's
the
the
end of
whole
episode
point
4.
of like waiting for
Quite
part
the
2.
offer from quite the gentleman,
Yeah,
can I just
so
say?
my
lord. But yeah, I've been writing a lot of Regency content, but I was supposed to design some kind of game, interactive fiction, interactive narrative piece, and the structure of that narrative piece was supposed to be the same as the structure of a dance of my choosing. So I chose contradance, which was the style of dancing popular in France and Britain during the Regency period. While I was writing, I just got struck by this piece by Norwegian composer, believe it or not, Edvard Grieg. He wrote this really great piece for string orchestra called Fra Holberg's Suite that I just kept it and I played it on loop over and over again. And while I didn't explicitly reference anything to do with Grieg or the concept of the music, it's just because music is so tied to my creative identity. It's so tied to the way that I'm inspired and that the way that I work. All because when I was 4 years old, my parents put on a VHS tape of Yanni live at the Acropolis. And I don't remember what they said I was doing. Was I like dancing or like just like waving my arms around or just like giggling or smiling or something like that? And they were like, we should put this kid in violin lessons. And yeah, now here I am. Slight humble brag. I took lessons at the Eastman School of Music.
No, Josh is being very humble.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now that we kind of drew a picture of you for our listeners that don't know you, do you mind me asking you a question?
Absolutely.
Like, did you say everything you wanted to say about
yes.
your music background? Okay. So that may be a bit egoistically because it's something I'm struggling with right now. So I may need an advice from a friend, and you may be like,
this should be a new segment for you guys when you have guests.
Advice
come on.
from a friend.
Advice from a friend.
Advice from a friend.
Yeah.
That sounds like prime segment material.
Also, because if we think about it, a bit of the podcast is about like our life in our 20s and how we navigate our life in our 20s. So right now, I feel like I'm struggling just because I'm juggling a lot at the moment. I'm a full-time master student. We all know I have an internship going on. I'm going to have another internship going on in like 2 weeks. I'm volunteering. There's the podcast. I'm trying to be social. I'm trying to go out there and date. I don't know. I feel like I have to have it all figured out.
Yeah, we only have so many hands.
Yes. And you have a lot going on as well. You are someone that is in your 20s. People just started like to get to know you and how much you have going on. You really have a lot of projects that you're juggling at the moment. Do you know how to find the balance? How do you navigate it? Are you just as lost as I am?
Yeah, what's your structure? Please bestow your wisdom upon us because we would enjoy it.
So that's a great question for my therapist. Because I know I just sat here and said all of those things, but girl, my life is... I don't know how put together my life is.
I feel like we all are really proud of what we're doing and we can talk really highly of what we're doing in the way you did, but at the same time there's a whole layer underneath of trying our best and feeling like we're not reaching our best, even if we honestly are. I feel like all of us, everyone in this room is amazing, but sometimes having to juggle that many things at the same time can not allow you to see how good you're doing.
Yeah, there's almost like this level of fear that you're behind. But, and I know it's kind of that cheesy, kind of cliched thing to say that we're all on our path, but like we are, like we all chose different reasons to come to Exeter for our MAs in the first place. I know exactly
also
what you're saying.
Also because the feeling of being behind, sometimes I'm like, behind, first of all, on what? but also all
On what? Thank you. On what?
But also all the things that I'm trying to juggle, all of them, are them things I want, or is it something that I'm supposed to want because, I don't know, maybe society is telling me that I have to have a kid by the time that I'm 30 because after that I'm gonna be too old. So of course I have to find a partner by, I don't know, 25 or something. And then I also have to find a job because if I want a kid and a family, I need a job. And also I need a job in general. But, you know, I'm also studying and I'm also trying to enjoy my life. So are all the things that are going on in my life things that I want or things that I feel like I should want?
That's a very excellent point. Yeah, I like the snaps.
Snaps.
It's like this never-ending series of and in terms of like what we have to juggle and also what we want. And so it's like this horrible, beautiful word of I have to do this and. But also didn't I sign up for all of those ands? And I mean, with the kids thing, I understand. I'm turning 26 this year. My mom is 52. She was 26 when she had me. So it's like this really weird, like...
You feel it, don't
you know, like everyone just has their different things that are important to them at different points in their life. But God, don't they stack up? They stack up, you guys. They do.
Yeah, they really do. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have the answer, but there's one thing that I'm trying to do. A friend of mine absolutely nails it with gifts because he also got me a New York Times page-a-day mini crossword calendar. Of course, we all mourned and cried and screamed the day the New York Times put the mini behind the paywall. I started playing the Boston Globe's mini purely to spite New York,
Fair.
which is, I love New York City to absolute death. So
You're
I felt
wearing,
guilty
just
doing
for
that.
listeners who aren't here, Josh is in fact wearing a New York City t-shirt at this moment in time.
It looks, it's J. Crew. It looks really nice. It's not like one of those I Hot New York
shout
shirts.
out.
so sweet.
But I have this calendar. One of the things that I was trying to do to kind of like check in with myself is that I do that crossword almost every single day. I think it's really important to set little rituals for yourself. I'm a big believer in rituals.
So would you say then it's like these little rituals that help you ground yourself from that never-ending barrel of
yes,
ants?
exactly. Also, I really love to read tarot cards, as you both know, and I think that's a great way, however much stock you want to put in tarot cards, I believe it's a really great way to tell a story about yourself and your future and the people in your life that may or may not be true, and to kind of gauge how you feel about that version of the story, and then what you can do to help make that story a reality or to help avoid that story. So every now and again, believe me, it's not on a schedule. I haven't done it in weeks. I really want to do it. I really want to do it because I don't know about you. I don't know about you guys, but there has been something in the air recently. I have just been feeling every single emotion all at the same
my
time.
gosh, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
We need to do a tarot session.
We do.
Can
Can we
tarot
actually,
session? I still owe you from Galentine's Day.
Yes, we're gonna do a Galentine's tarot.
A love-coded one.
Yes, that was my Galentine's Day gift
About
to
love.
everyone about love. So I still owe you that. But like, it's these different self-care rituals.
Thank you for using the word self-care.
Yeah,
I think it really comes down
and
to that.
believe me, there were a lot of years in therapy. It can be a huge battle to get yourself to be okay with the words self-care and to do something and go, no, that wasn't just like something random you did for other, like that was self-care and you did that for yourself and you did that for yourself because you deserve it, because life is hard and we're all swimming in the primordial emotion soup and sometimes the soup boils over a little bit, and when the soup boils over a little bit, we need to ground ourselves. We need to close out the Google Calendar tab that is constantly and forever open on my computer, and we just need to take 30 seconds.
I feel like it's really sweet and really human to think about how each one of us take care of ourselves in a different way, and something that works for me is not going to work for anyone else, but
That's
still.
True. Yeah, at the end of the day, like the most important interactive narrative that we're telling is our own.
Snaps.
It's our own. And you got to do what you need to take care of yourself in order to tell that story right.
Absolutely.
And David proves again that she's really wise.
Yeah.
Thank you. Every once in a while, it comes to me, right? That muse.
God, you're such a poet. You're just such a poet. Jeez.
Thank you.
Okay, that was really interesting.
That
Thank you for your
was.
advice.
Oh, no,
it was
thank
really
you.
needed.
I'll
I know
be-
I can always knock at your door anyways, but it was just
Yeah,
really nice
absolutely.
to hear that.
And to be so honest, I kind of turned to the two of you for advice on all of this, so I felt like kind of weird being on the other sides.
But it's so okay, it was so relaxing for me to hear that actually the way to manage it all and to manage this feeling of being overwhelmed is not like something huge that you have to do
No.
for yourself. It's just like the little things that you have to do daily. Not that you have to do, that you should do daily
Yeah.
to feel better. When I feel overwhelmed, I feel even more pressure because I'm like, you shouldn't be overwhelmed. Calm down. And then of course it makes it
It's
all
the inner
worse.
critic, yeah.
But then if you think about it in a way that is like, actually, Julia, just take one step at a time. Do a little thing and you're going to feel better. That's really a great advice. So thank you,
It is.
Josh.
Thank you,
We could
Josh.
do a whole episode on imposter syndrome if you ever wanted to do that, by the way, because, oh my lord.
Oh my lord, isn't it hard? Oh, I'm just looking at my notes now. That's going to be a little bracket and it's probably like a really silly little question. But I really wanted to ask you that. So
Yes,
you
actually,
just
please
said...
do. Actually, this is a great question from an American. I would love to know the answer.
Yeah, because you just said in the beginning of the episode, you're half American, half British.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you feel more American or more British? That's my silly question for
Oh.
you.
That's a great question. And the answer, to be totally honest, depends. I feel very British because I'm here in Britain and I'm studying. And as actually, at the very beginning, I joked about how my accent is if you took a British accent and an American accent and put it in a blender and just kind of pulsed it a couple of times.
Oh, I remember the first time I met you, I was 100% sure you were British.
Well, that's the thing, and I kind of played this fun game the first 2-3 weeks I was here. I was like, every single Brit is gonna listen to me, clock me immediately, and go, "There's something weird about you. What's weird about you?" And most Americans that I met thought I was British. Most international students that I met thought I was British. In America, obviously, my accent is not this.
No,
It
you sent us
is-
a voice note over the holidays, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Who is speaking to me right now?
So yeah, my any of my American friends who are listening to this podcast, they got me. I'm sorry. This is what I sound like now. But yeah.
So would you say that it depends on where you're currently
Yeah,
living?
I think so. But sometimes it's interesting. I'm not going to have a straight answer for you because sometimes it's kind of the opposite effect. If I've been in America for a while, my accent has shifted back over, and now it's kind of, if it's in the process of kind of shifting back, I've never felt more American. And likewise, going back over to America, I never feel more British. But yeah, oftentimes I feel poignantly one or the other when I feel a little bit out of place, and I felt that kind of in high school. To be honest, high school, like, I can barely cognize what happened to me a year ago. Between the ages of 0 and, like, 20, might as well be ancient history to me that I read about in a book. I don't know if that's an experience
That's a common
you guys
It
have.
is, yeah. Same
Um,
for me. Same for me.
Absolutely, especially before COVID for whatever reason.
Oh,
My
I
life
know.
before COVID,
Yeah.
I don't know who I was. I don't know what I was doing. After
No.
COVID, it's kind of, I have a clearer picture of my life and what I was doing and what I was thinking.
Mhm.
It was
And
a
my
full
projects and my
reset.
passions.
Yeah.
Before that,
No,
Yeah.
it's true. It was like a full reset.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
I don't, whoever day was prior to COVID is not the day that exists now. Like, two completely intangible things. They're
Did it
just not the
change your
same.
life up completely as well then?
Oh
Like,
my God,
not
yes.
just like your, I wouldn't say personality, but just not how you remember yourself, but actually concretely. Because it did for me. Like, my life changed. Like, the
Oh,
decisions that I took
absolutely.
after COVID were completely different from the ones I would take before that.
I got more serious about wanting to study abroad.
Oh,
So I was like,
interesting.
I cannot sit in this apartment one more day. Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go crazy. And so then I'd daydream about, like, if I could go anywhere, where would I go? And that for sure. And then, like, getting more comfortable just spending time with myself because I think everybody had to.
We had
So
to.
solidifying that personal relationship.
Real big one for me, which we haven't actually talked about yet. Real big one for me is that I became comfortable with my sexuality. So listeners, I identify as queer, and that was a real big thing. Like, going from closeted to trying to not be closeted was a big thing that happened for me
Mhm.
over the pandemic, especially because, like, days before the pandemic happened in that same high school, I got outed. But I
Oh,
got
that's
outed.
right.
I got outed at a party where people were drinking,
Okay.
and so, like, to my knowledge of that night, because again, everything that happened before I was 20 years old is ancient history now.
Mhm.
To my knowledge, I played that off pretty successfully. So, like, I kind of got outed, but also I didn't.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah,
by
I
the
mean,
way.
sorry.
I mean, Yeah, like
It's
like
kinda-
I obviously I appreciate that. I am grateful that I do not have worse stories. I'll
Mhm.
say that.
Yeah.
But it leads to the kind of the beautiful existence that I have right now, where
Mhm.
I'm living my best life, kind of experiencing the dating pool here in
Yeah.
England, and I feel a lot more comfortable with myself and who I am and how I kind of identify and present myself to the world. And so I think that was a lot of what COVID was for me. COVID actually also deepened my love for video games. So shout out once again, if you happen to be listening to this and you played Minecraft with me in the year 2020 on that shared server, shout out to you. I hope you're doing well.
So does it connect a bit to what Dave was saying, that like you were kind of forced to spend time with
Yeah.
yourself and with your thoughts?
100%.
Okay, that's really interesting.
It is really interesting. Thank you for sharing that with
Thank you
us
for
and with all of our
sharing.
listeners. It's a kind of story that will hit with a lot of different
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
It's
In
an
different
important
ways.
topic.
Yeah, how strange it is that sometimes other people define our story, but we still feel like it's still ours and it's still fully yours.
Yeah.
And you own it in such a beautiful way, even like nowadays. But it's crazy to think that sometimes just people interfere with it in a way that it's not something that they should be doing.
Right.
But still, it affects us, and sometimes you get out of it stronger, sometimes you don't. But still, it's something to think about.
It is something to think about. This is such an interesting conversation that we've had throughout this. I mean, the entire episode. I feel like we keep coming back to this idea of like whose story is it? Whose perspective matters? Like we're back at it
Guys,
again.
we're so good at podcasting.
We are.
We're so
back
good at
it again.
podcasting.
Like
Oh
whose
my
story
God.
is it? Can be applied to endless conversations and topics, as I guess we found out today.
All right, shall we lean toward our last topic?
I
believe so.
Yeah.
Because there's something I really want to ask you about,
yeah?
and I really hope you're gonna be sharing something with us. So this episode is gonna come out around mid-April, I believe, and you are gonna be somewhere else in mid-April.
That's right.
And you're organizing your trip right now. So we're gonna
Yes.
have a little term break for 3 weeks, and you're gonna get the most out of it.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. The most out of
Absolutely.
it.
I am.
So you're gonna go to Europe.
I'm very excited. I'm going to Europe. So I'm stitching together what I'm calling a classical music tour of Europe, starting in Salzburg. Shout out to the birthplace of Mozart. And everybody keeps telling me to take the Sound of Music tour. So I think I'm going to do
Oh.
like the Sound of Music, obviously great musical. I have probably the relationship to it that the average person has to it, but like every single person and their mother and their mother's cousin and their mother's cousin's dog has all said that you need to take the Sound of Music tour when you go to
Okay.
Salzburg. So I'm gonna try and do that.
Gotta do it.
Gonna do all the Mozart things as classical musicians must when you go
Gotta give the people
visit.
what they want.
Exactly. And then after that, probably what I'm most excited about, I'm going to Vienna for the very first time.
Oh, that is really,
it your
really
first time?
exciting.
Yeah, Vienna. I mean, obviously, a city with such deep classical music history, but also just such deep history and nightlife and culture and food. I'm going to try Sachertorte, which is like, I'm a huge chocolate fan and a huge chocolate cake fan. And Sachertorte is supposed to be this like super rich, indulgent, like chocolate torta.
Bracket.
Bracket.
Soccer is my dad's favorite dessert and cake, I guess.
Oh, truly?
So, ciao papi, ti voglio tanto
I love-
bene. So che stai ascoltando. I know my dad is listening, so hi, okay.
Hi.
Close bracket.
I will say, hi, Julia's dad. I also love you to
Hi,
pieces.
Julia's dad.
Oh, bracket. So Josh was cooking a cordon bleu the other day, and I just showed him a video that I took back home because my dad used to be a chef. And so, of course, I'm spoiled. And once he did a cordon bleu from scratch, he does it often. And I just have this cheese pull video of his cordon bleu that I just showed Josh. And Josh instantly fell in love with my dad. He was like, there is another reason why I need to visit you back in Italy.
100%.
Yeah.
For the record, Julia's dad. I did not do it from scratch.
No.
Thank
That's why you need to come to Italy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Close bracket.
Yeah. Well,
My
actually,
dad.
briefly reopen bracket. Julia, you and I need to do another one of our carbonara nights, and Day,
Oh,
you need to
lovely.
come try.
I love being invited for
Yeah.
dinner
Yeah.
night.
I
Yeah.
love cooking with other people. I especially love cooking with you, Josh, because we always crack a little bottle of wine open.
Oh,
And we enjoy
absolutely.
ourselves. So that's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, a glass of go-go juice if I ever say it.
Oh, thank you. A glass of Go-Go
Yeah.
Juice.
I
Always
love
makes
how
me better.
I love how everyone is passionate about cooking in our flat. It's something really Italian to come together at the dinner table and just enjoy your time together. When I was an au pair in Ireland, it's something that it was like kind of a cultural shock to not have that, to not have people looking forward to that time of the day where you just sit down and unwind with your family and have a meal. And having a support system, having a group friend here that does it and looks forward to cooking together and eating together and spending that time together makes me feel so much at home, by the way. It's really lovely. Yeah. So,
Oh, lovely. All right, well, close all the
That's sweet.
brackets
Yes.
so that I can blast through the rest of this very quickly because I'm very, very rambly, if you could not tell, listeners.
And we love that about you.
So
do.
while I'm in Vienna, we're going to go to the Musikverein. We're doing all of that because we're having lots of Sachertorte. Then from Vienna, I'm going up, and I cannot believe I get to say these words out loud. I'm going to meet a friend in Berlin.
Okay.
My friend, hello, darling Frida, if you're listening to this. But I'm going to go stay with Frida and a friend of mine, and I think shared friend of you guys, Christy, also an American.
Yes. And she's so supportive. of us
I
in the
love Christy.
podcast.
Thank you, Christy.
Phenomenal
Thank you so much.
singer. You should get her on this podcast. I'm
You
sure she would. She would
should.
die to be on this podcast. Amazing singer, amazing human being. We're gonna meet in Berlin and go
Okay.
to crash with Frida for a little bit. We'll be there. I'll get to go see the Berliner Philharmoniker, which I'm very excited about. And then the three of us will all take the train up to Hamburg for my second friend in Germany. Hello, Lola. I'm taking everybody to see the Symphonica Hamburg.
Wow.
So that'll be a really fun
That's
night.
sweet.
And then, if you couldn't believe all of that, after that, I'm gonna fill my little gay dreams and go to Amsterdam,
Oh,
which feels, I don't know if it's like a queer capital of Europe, but it feels to me like a queer capital of Europe. So I'm very excited. Obviously gonna go to the Concertgebouw, the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra, one of the top orchestras in Europe. I've got myself a ticket behind the orchestra, literally right on the edge of the staircase. I'm so
Wow.
excited.
See them all.
And Elim Chan is conducting. I adore Elim Chan. I think she's a wonderful human being. She's a phenomenal conductor. Playing Elgar Enigma Variations.
Sorry, Josh, but you're so well educated. You
No,
dropped an
truly.
awful amount of names and
Yes.
titles
it's
today.
It's just called a hyperfixation.
No, you are.
No,
You're
no.
really well educated because, like, you dropped 100 names in so many different fields. So it just means, like, of course, you're passionate about it, but you know what you're talking
Yeah, who
about.
says hyperfixation can't be education?
That's true. That's
exactly.
true.
Sorry, continue though.
No, that's pretty much it. Amsterdam and Vienna have been two cities that I have just been dying to go to for like literally my entire life. So I'm gonna go to both of those places. We end the trip. I come back, and then term 3 starts 2 days afterwards.
True.
And we have to do our dissertations.
It's gonna be another intense term.
It is,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, you have so much to look forward to. Can you imagine like the copious amounts of joy that you're going to feel in any one of those situations?
I'm really excited and grateful. I'm just so grateful to be in the position where I could do something like that, but also to be here in England and studying abroad and have met 2 people who have within months become 2 of my
Aw.
closest friends I've ever had. And for them to
You're such a kind soul.
let me fulfill
Josh.
a lifelong dream and be on a podcast.
Dreams come
This is
true, baby,
crazy.
every
This is
day.
dreams come true.
Aw.
Yeah, and like not to be cliche, but the story's just getting started, and
Oh, it
that's
is.
It is.
Absolutely.
and that's just exciting. And we're gonna, whoever's writing it, we've got at least a little claim to the authorship.
Oh, Josh, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you both so much.
It's been
Love
such a
you.
lovely chat, and I'm glad you were a guest here. So thank you, Josh.
Yay.
On Life and Stories, this was the Go-Go Juice Podcast.